and welcome to another tutorial with me, Lou from Tea and Crochet. Okay, today we are going to be doing my Pixie bonnet, and I've just chosen this beautiful yarn to do it in. So let's work through it. Okay, so I'm using a 9mm hook and some super chunky yarn, which, as if you've watched my videos before, you know is my favourite. This one is King Cole Stormy, which is lovely. Okay, so we are going to create the Pixie bonnet. It is made up in one piece, and so all you have to do at the end is just sew up the back and pop a wee pom-pom on it, and that is done. So we need to leave a long tail in order for us to do that. So leave a nice long tail, and then let's get started. I'm going to open my pattern so I know what size I'm making today. I'm going to make a little one today because I haven't got an order for this. I just wanted to make a video for you. So I started with a slip knot on my hook, which if you don't know how to do that, then go back and watch my Learn to Crochet video, because that will tell you how to do it. So I'm just going to make, how small am I going to make? Let's make a decision. I'm going to make the 6 to 12 months one today. So I'm going to chain 29. Right, there we go. 29 stitches. Nice and even, fabulous. We are going to work into the back of the chain, the little bumps. Can you see? Bit nearer, the bumps. And we are working half treble crochets today. So we don't want the first bump, we want the second bump. And just put it on. So again, if you'd like some help with the half treble crochet, we yarn over and we pop it in the stitch, we yarn over again. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and that gives you a half treble crochet. All my patterns are in UK terms, and all my videos are in UK terms. It does get confusing with US, but I have got plans to pop up a few downloads so you know exactly what's what. Okay, so we're just going to work 1 stitch into every back bump, as I call them, all the way back down to the bottom. Take your time with this first row. The first row is always the trickiest, just to get those stitches nice and even and in the right place. There we go, all the way down. Desperately trying not to waffle at you, because when I've been editing my videos recently, I waffle a lot, so I do apologise. I think it's just that if you were in my house and I was teaching you to crochet, we'd just have a much more friendly conversation, like you'd be here and I'd be chatting away to you. So I think that's what my head does. I just sit and talk away to you like you are actually sat next to me. Okay, I will stop. I have done 1 row. Okay, so I'm now going to continue and make 7 of these rows. But first I'll show you how I start and end them. So we are going to chain 1 and we are going to turn our work, and we are going to work not a half treble crochet into here, we're going to work just 1 double crochet. And then we're going to move on to our half treble crochets, and then we're also going to end on a double crochet, just so you've got this like little tapered look. So because this is the side of the bonnet, which would be along the kind of jawline, and we just want to taper that in ever so slightly. Okay, so if you can just continue those. I mean, if you're making the 6 to 12, great. If you're not, if you're following the pattern and you've got, if you're making, I don't know, a 1 to 3, then you will need to make 8 rows. If you have just found the video and you don't know what the pattern is, then the pattern's available on my website, which is teaandcrochet.co.uk. I will also be supplying a crochet kit. So if you don't have any of the items, I will supply and send them out to you in whatever colour and pom-pom colour you will like. Okay, so I've got to the end and I'm just going to do a double crochet. There we go. All right, come back when you finish your rows. Okay, so I've managed to do my 7 rows. I'm hoping I've got enough yarn to actually finish the hat, so you might have to bear with me because this is the only ball I've got. But that's okay, we'll go through it. Right, so now we're going to work what I call the ribbing, which is the edge of the hat. Now, this can sometimes be a little bit tricky and fiddly, but don't worry. We are going to chain chain two and turn our work. Now, we've been working half treble crochets all the way along. We're now going to work just a row of trebles. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops. It's just a treble stitch, and do that all the way along. It's a higher, you'll notice that the height of the stitch has changed. So a half treble is shorter than a treble, because technically there's an extra step into the treble. That's all it is. So do this all the way along. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work another row of trebles, but around our posts of our trebles that we are just making here. I'll explain that when I get to the end. Hang on. Whoops. Sometimes I go a bit too fast for my hook to catch up. Okay, just keep them even. We don't need to do a double crochet at the end. I want this to be even. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to turn my work again, and we are going to work not into the stitches like we have been doing. We're going to work round the post. So a front post, you go behind the stitch and come out of the left hand of the side stitch. Okay, so we are going to do our treble stitches again. So yarn over, we're going to insert, yarn over and pull through. So our stitch is being worked round the post of the stitch from the below row. And then we're going to work our stitch as usual. Okay, and then the back one, we are going to go from the back round the front and back out to the back, and we're going to pull through our loop. So you've got a front one and a back one. You can see the front one is at the front and the back one's at the back. So again, the front one, we're going to go insert from the front, round the back of it to the left hand side of it, pull it through, and then finish our stitch as usual. And then this one, we're going to go from the behind, round the front, back into the behind, and pull it through. Okay, I'll try and do a few of these slowly, so you can see where I'm going. And move around the back, across the front, and back to the back. There we go. Okay, so you're going behind, this is the post, we're going behind the post for a front one. And for back one, we want to go in front of the post. Okay, and we just alternate all the way along. It might look a bit odd to begin with, so don't worry. I know it looks a bit strange there, but when we've done the 3rd row, it actually looks really sweet. And round the back and round the front. Don't panic, it might take you a little longer to get used to this. You might get mixed up. That's okay. The beauty of crochet is you can just undo that last stitch. So I'll show you. So let's just do 2 front ones here. So I've accidentally done 2 front ones here. Okay, so you just want to take your hook out and just undo the loop slowly, and then pop your hook back into that loop. See? And then you can just work the actual stitch you wanted. Also, if you're feeling really creative, you could change it up. So I do it alternatively. You could do 2 front, 2 back, 2 front, 2 back, and it would make a different design. These stitches can make amazing designs, different patterns and all sorts for jumpers and things, but I just tend to use it for ribbing just because I like it, and I like it's easy. Another way you can do ribbing is, I'll have to show you actually, maybe I'll do another tutorial about how to do ribbon. There we go. And then when you get to the end, if you've got a gap here, some hats you do, some hats you don't, depending on what size you're making. If you have, just pop a treble stitch in it, just makes it nice and flush. And then we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're going to chain 2, we're going to turn our work. And then obviously that's a normal chain. I'm not going to work around that one. So the thing is, now we're working the way back, obviously, you need to make sure you do a front post treble into a front post. And you should be able to decide which one's which, so that you can see this one's a front one because it's protruding out the front, and this one behind here is a back one. So with front ones, you want to go again around to the front by working through the back, and the back ones through the back. Okay. I'll do a few and I'll show you why you want to do a front one into a front one, because that's what creates the ribbon, is doing them on top of one another. Otherwise it just, see, you can see there's the line, and on the back. Okay. All right, so I'll let you practice that and I'll come back when we've got to the end. Okay, and we've got to the end. So you should have this like rectangle, and if you fold it in half, you can quite clearly see there's a little bonnet being made. So now what we'll do is we're going to work the ties, and then we're simply just going to crochet around the fronts, or around the sides actually, back to the front and make another tie. And then all we're going to do is then sew up the back. So let's do that. So doing ties, I just chain. I'm making a little one, so I think I'm going to do 18 chains here. Okay, and then just chain back. Look how much yarn I've got left. Can we do it? It's going to be tight. Oh, I've lost my hook there. There's my loop. So we're slip stitching, I don't know if I've said, sorry. We're slip stitching back all the way through to make a tie back to the hat. And then we're simply just going to double crochet along the side, really. Okay, and we're back. So there should be there's 3 rows, isn't there, of treble stitches. So we're just going to put 1 double crochet there, 1 there, and 1 there. Now, you should see there are some holes here. There's a hole there. That's where we're going to double crochet into. But the first 2 holes, I'm going to do a decrease. So I insert my hook, I yarn over, insert my hook into the other hole, and pull through. That just brings the hat a little bit closer together so it fits around the side of the head. And then I'm just going to finish off this row by just popping some more in. And when I get to this point, we've got back to our stitches. This is why I work into the back loop when we first start, because otherwise it would be a bit flat here and you just have one. I like working in 2 loops. So I insert my hook here. Now here, we want to bring up the hat, and I want to insert it into the other first stitch there. So I'm folding the hat in half, and I'm just doing a little double crochet there. Right, let's move that tail inside the hat because we don't want that right now. And then I'm just going to do the same as what I did at the other side and just double crochet down the side. There we go. And again, when I get to these 2 stitches before the ribbing, which is these 2 here, I'm going to decrease these 2. Okay, and then just pop 3 for our trebles. Now this one here, I tend to try and find the V and pop it there. It just means I can anchor my tie a little bit better. And then, what did I say? 18, didn't I? 3, 4, 5, 6. I've gone too far, done 20, haven't I? 18, there we are. Right. And then slip stitch back down. And then that's our crocheted hat. And now I've got to do is just sew it in and sew some ends and find a pom-pom. Okay, and then I just sew into that, do a slip stitch there just to anchor that down, unless I, pull it out. Let's try again. There we go. Snip, I did do it, yeah, I had enough. Okay, so we now have this lovely hat with the hole in it. So turn it inside out, and let's sew that hole up so it actually makes a hat. Okay, so again, we've got these lovely V's here, which you can see. We are just going to be working underneath those. Okay, so so line them up and just sew them through. Some people like to crochet up this bit. I prefer sewing. I find that if you crochet up it gives a bump at the back of the head, and do you know what? That's not going to be comfortable for anyone to wear, is it? A bump at the back of the hat. So I like to do just a quick, I can't sew. I can't tell you what the stitches is. Please pop it in the comments if you know. Running stitch, whip stitch, I don't know. So I put a little knot at the top. And then I normally leave this tail here so I can sew the pom-pom onto, and then I sew in my other end. And any other ends I've had to find. Just sew that through different directions. There we go, and give that a snip. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to go grab my pom-pom, and we'll pop that on, shall we? Okay, here's my pom-pom. You can get these in my shop, or if you've bought the kit, you should have one in your kit. Okay, so I'm going to thread both tails on, and I'm just going to pop it through the top of my hat. Then I'm going to sew through the bottom of the pom-pom, put it tight, and then go through the other side. This bit could be a bit tricky and tough to pull through. But my pom-poms are well made. You just have to do 3 or 4 stitches really. I tend to, once I've done 2, I tend to come back through, turn the hat inside out and give it a bit of a knot. And then I'll go back, have a look at it and see where else I want to pop in a stitch. I'd like it to come a bit further forward. There we go. Okay. And then back down. Oh, I've got it through that. There we go. Right, pop another couple of knots, and then I'm just gonna sew in this thread. And sew in this end. There's a snip. Right, let's come back and look at my pom-pom. I've got a few bits tucked in. Let's give them a bit of a floof. Get them untucked. There we go. Give it a shake. You see where that looks nice and flat where we've sewn it up on the back. And there we go. That's our Pixie pom-pom done. Hope you liked it. Feel free to pop me any comments below. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.